Hotep family. You're tuning into the pro-black perspective on KWAZ radio. And today we're going to go over, we're going to do some Sunday African worship. All right? This is going to be Pan-African wisdom, ancient ancestors. Like I said, this book is very accessible. All you need to do is just uh, hit the link in the description and you can get yourself a free copy. But if you wanted to purchase it, you can also head on to Amazon and just make yourself a purchase and probably give away the book. You know, the reality is that what we need to do, what we need to be doing, is spreading the information, spreading the knowledge. And there's no better way of spreading knowledge, I don't think, than Proverbs. You know, I was just listening to somebody giving a lecture, and they said, you know, Proverbs are so powerful that you could even correct an elder. You know, so let's say you and I are in debate or something, and I'm not saying I'm an elder, but let's say you and I are in debate, and you bring out a proverb. You know, I gotta be on my toes now. You know, I gotta be on my toes because, you know, it might be the case that, you know, I have to say, look, you know, I'll concede to my ancestors. And that's what we all have to do. We have to concede to our ancestors. And we have to know that, yes, our ancestors were not perfect. And yes, sometimes our ancestors were bested. But there has to be an understanding of that. And the way how you understand that is you have to go back and study. You have to go back and study and see. And see, I study both sides. I study both sides. I study our ancestors and I study the ancestors of our enemies, and there I can get a clearer vision. You know, some people try to just study today, and they might, and they don't really understand today that way. You know, I think it was somebody else. Oh, somebody was making a comment about uh, something someone else said, which was, you know, how the past is prologue. You know, and that's just common knowledge that the past is prologue, and when you understand the prologue, you understand, you can for the most part gather what's going to happen in the end. You know, so here's we're gonna just start at a random page. I chose page 34 because we know that we're halfway through the book, but we're gonna start it off. And let me just make sure that everybody could hear me. Yeah. All right, family. So this is what I want to tell you. Carry a weapon always. One day it will be useful to you. This is very... Now, here, this is one of the tragedies of our past. All right? You know, in ancient Kemet, right? Now, this is not from ancient Kemet. This is from more recent time. But in ancient Kemet, when the Eurasians invaded, you know, the first intermediate period. So I actually described this inside of the Book of Power. But in the first intermediate period, what happened to our ancestors was that they had to, when they went farming, the farmers had to go armed because the city was in turmoil. The country was in turmoil, right? And later on, you know, during the time of our, you know, Ma'afa, our capture, you know, when a lot of us were being captured and brought to the Americas, when we went farming, we had to carry weapons. You know, it's it's imperative that we understand that the destruction of our communities, right, the destruction of our people, because even today, when you say, oh, look, you know, if you go into, like, say, the inner cities of America, right, a lot of our people are carrying weapons, you know, and unfortunately, mostly against our own. And you have to see why, because on the one hand, we are not necessarily organized or technologically prepared to encounter our enemies. You know, I one video I want you to look at, you know, was the SWAT team coming into uh, Breonna Taylor's home. You know, when you look at that video, and they censored it, as far as I can tell. But when you look at that video, what you see is like a very organized armed force. You know, and that's just for what they suspect of being two shooters, both of whom were already passed, like already dead. Oh no, sorry, one was dead. Breonna Taylor was passed, and then her boyfriend wasn't, right? But I think if I recall correctly, he might have been shot, but maybe not. I don't know. But the thing is that this is what this is where we are. If we're in the West, if you're in the West, that's what. Like, I want people in Africa to see that, because that is the kind of formation, the kind of organization that you want to have when you are doing a home invasion. You know, when you are doing something, when you are attacking someone, because and that's also something that you have to prepare for when you are being attacked. So you have to say, how can I outgun that? You know, what can I do? And see, there's a limitation. I keep explaining to people that there's a limitation on how much of your defense you can actually. Because like one thing you could think about is like, let's say, an auto turret. You know, one thing you could think about is an auto turret. One thing you could think about is a drone with high military capacity. One thing you could think about is airplanes and so on and so forth. I mean, that's like obviously extreme, or tanks and all that. Those can work, but if you don't have that in your community, right, or if you don't have access to that in your community, which chances are, if you do not write the laws of your land, you may not have that access. Then again, there's a cap on how much you can do. You know, a lot of us don't seem to like. I'll tell you this. There was a brother when I was organizing, you know, in my younger days, I guess. But when I was organizing, there was this brother who always showed up decked out military gear, not military gear, but like, you know, like looking like a commander or something, you know, badges and all that, right? But like RBG and all that, you know. But he would like go online and say stuff like F this and F that and blah blah blah, and the police kicked down his door one day. You understand? So it's like, if you, and he's just doing this online, it's just, you know, typing, right? They kicked down his door, they invaded his home and said, cut that shit out. Okay? And that's something that's regular in America. Okay? Even the dude, you know, the one dude that was, the first dude that we considered being arrested for the identity extremist, black identity extremist thing. You know, like he's guns and blah, blah, blah. They open his door up. And they say, hey, you know, you got an outstanding warrant. No, you got, well, we want to arrest you for something. You know, and they did. So, and even like I said, Carlos Cooks. You know, you go into Carlos Cooks and you say, oh, Carlos Cooks is great. They arrested him too. You understand? So it behooves us to not understand that when you're in another person's nation, that they can arrest you. And the only resistance against arrest, you know, Marcus Garvey informed us, the only protection against injustice in man is power, physical, financial, and scientific, right? But you're not going to get that physical power, right, if you're beholden to their laws. If they're the ones controlling the borders, right, then, well, I'm not going to say that black folk have no way of getting, you know, heavy armaments, and we do, but they have a much easier way. And that's really like what it comes down to. That's really what it comes down to. And same with organizational level, same with, you know, like you're in for something. So let us go to this, and this is why, you know, some people might say, look, Early, you always argue, you always debate, right? And then they're going to say, look, two men in a burning house must not stop to argue. And that's true. But here's the thing, but see, that's why you have to pay attention to what I say, what I do. What I tell you is, I say, get out of the burning house. You understand? You're not supposed to argue about getting out of the burning house. You understand? If the other person's like, nah, I'm staying, right? And you want to save them. Or even if you're, and like, see, my thing is that I'm not telling you, like, sometimes when you hear me talking to people, I'm not really trying to save them. You know? I have these public conversations. You know, in private, I don't tell you nothing. You know, in private, you can say, hey, Oni, when you blah, 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 I'm like, look, you want to come on the podcast? You understand? Because I understand that, look, you might not be convinced. You might not want to change your mind, right? But somebody has to listen and hear you arguing to be in a burning house. And when they're in the burning house and they hear you arguing to be in a burning house, they might say, you know what, let me get my black ass out. So I'm trying to save the other life. This is why I do public discussion. You know, some of y'all like, oh, you're just trying to... No, I'm trying to save lives. Okay? I'm trying to save lives. Yeah, I know. I think my voice got a little messed up recently, but, you know, it is what it is. It'll recover. You know? But I'm trying to save lives. If you don't wanna save lives, that's on you. If you want to be in a burning house, that's on you. That's not me. And I'm not trying to keep our people in that condition. But like I said, if somebody wants to, like, you have your own life, and what my life will be is my life is saying, look, let's get out. Get out. Just get out. See you on the other side. Other side of the Atlantic. All right. I think I already read this part though. I don't know. Wait, hold on a second. Did I read all this? I'm just trying to figure out. Are you initiated into the village? I don't remember how far I read. But we're gonna just skip ahead, I guess. We're gonna go to this right here. If the young are not initiated into the village, they will burn it down just to feel its warmth. Right? This is what's happening in our community. The fact that when you like here's the issue. Right? You have to say to yourself, what village are black people being initiated into? What village? When I go to school and I graduate and I get my high school diploma and I get my college degree and I get my PhD and I get my master's degree, then I get my PhD, right? Who's initiating me? Which village am I initiated in? And then now if I come back to the black community and you say, what have you done for us? You graduated, what have you done for us? I gotta ask you, what have you done for me when I was a child? What have you done for me when I was a child? I had to go to school to get some food, to get some breakfast. I had to go to school to get some lunch. I had to go to school to learn how to read. I had to go to school to learn how to write. I had to go to school to learn how to research. I had to go to school to learn about the universe. And I come back and you asking me is, what have I done for you? Yeah, I might burn it down. A lot of these, like I said, check out the Better Medicine podcast. He was reading this story. He was reading this research by, I guess, Dr. This guy named Kemet Shockley. And Kemet Shockley wrote a profile of a Afrocentric scholar, Afrocentric teacher, and the teacher's name is Brother Touré. Right? And Brother Touré, he was going above and beyond as a teacher. And what he was doing was he was like, so one of the students was killed, shot and killed. And the other students wanted to retaliate. And this is something that's regular. This is something that's normal. When I was on like another social media website once upon a time, I heard one of my elementary school chums, say, "Hey man, somebody killed my friend. I'm gonna go and kill them." Right? And I was like, "Shit, this is real life shit." Right? That's the real life stuff that for what it's worth. Right? White folk don't deal with. You know what I'm saying? And so like a lot of black kids are like, "Hey, look, I'm dealing with real life." And then I come to school and it's like pretend shit, But now this Brother Touré guy, he kind of kept it, He with one of the kids, I don't know if it was one of the kids that was supposed to retaliate or one of the kids that was supposed to be retaliated against, but he decided to drive this kid every day and dialogue with him and say, look, chill out, you know what I'm saying? Chill out, calm down, it's not that serious, And I mean, it's awkward to hear, it's awkward to hear, but he really got involved with this kid. So what happens is that when you get involved with these kids' lives, they treat you well. But see, the other teachers, they're just like, I don't really care. I don't care. What are you doing for me? Everybody has to. You have to. When you talk about initiation is this paying attention to the development of another human being. You understand? This initiation is paying. When you do that, people will treat you better. If you're not paying attention to the development of another human being, then get out of here. Like for instance, my son right now, he's like, oh yeah, this dude pays attention to me and my development, right? But if I was an absent father, yeah, he wouldn't recognize me. He wouldn't stop me on the street. Okay, today he might walk up to me and be like, hey, I love you. Give me a hug. Just randomly, right? If I was an absent father, he would just, and he sees me on the streets, he'd be like, oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, hey, have a nice day. Maybe. You got to know that. You have to really say to yourself, how many people are you paying attention to the development of? And I should be doing this more often, to be honest. I should be trying to develop more people, but like I said, I got my hands full with this kid. I got my hands full with this kid. And then that's something that, comes back to, the fact that, real talk, I should be a married man. But as I'm not, I have my own difficulties. But even so, that's just part of the game. That's just part of life. You gotta do what you gotta do. And see, this is what I say right here. The ruin of a nation begins in the homes of its people. All right. So the ruin of a nation begins in the homes of its people. The home. I used to organize with this brother. The brother we always talk about. The most important thing to do is have a family. The most important thing is the family. Because even when you say this, man, look, I'm gonna tell you real talk. When I think about it, I'm like, look, if I'm trying to be on the front line, how am I gonna bring my boy with me? If I'm with my boy all the time, right? How am I gonna bring my boy on the front line? Bullets whizzing over my head, and I'm like, hey man, kid, make sure you lay low. You know, or I'm running to the next trench, and the boy don't run as fast. Don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Like the social formation requires that, like not just the division of like it requires that you have a safe space for a child. But look here, when you're talking about in the West, there's not really too many safe spaces for children. You understand? There's not really too many safe spaces for children, particularly because the people who are prosecuting the crimes don't give a about you, don't care about you or your child or anything, or the sanctity of your family, nothing. The people enforcing the laws, and I'm talking about here in the West, people enforcing the laws don't care about. But you go back to Africa, you talk about somebody, touching a child, then suddenly, you talking about a dead man. You understand? You're talking about a dead man. So it's like, a part of it is that, look, not just the ruin of a nation begins in the homes of the people, but you have to realize that, the ruin of the home begins in the ruin of the nation. It's a mutual. It's a mutual, and I want you to understand that. Okay? I want you to understand that our people are going to suffer, right? As long as we don't pursue Pan-African nationalism. This is something that I know. It's not something I think. It's something I know. Like I said, I used to study. I go to college. I went to college. I got the degree from the white man. White man handed it to me. He got a picture. Took a picture of me receiving my diploma. Right? Why I'm telling you this is because when the white man had me take a sociology class. He said, look, you got to have a whole liberal arts education. I'm doing astrophysics. But he said, you got to take some social classes. I love them. I like the sociology classes. I just wanted to do astrophysics. Right? One of the things that these white people were telling you was that, look, even in the white community, when these police came in, right, they now have the judge and the judicial system. They took the judicial system outside of the family. Okay? So once upon a time, if you was to steal from another person's home, that person would call up his sons, and this is white people. They call up his sons and say, look, you know what? We're gonna find this motherfucker that stole from us, right? I heard that it was Billy Bob. He got the goods. We're gonna go teach him a lesson, right? Now that's illegal. You understand? So essentially, the role of men was decreased even among these white boys. So what do you think is gonna happen to you? What do you think happened to you? What do you think happened to you? I think I said enough on that. We're going to keep going. Do not repair another's fence until you have seen to your own. This is the truth right here. And this is why I don't even like I would engage on discussion and say, look, I got to repatriate. But I know it's harder for me to repatriate. Because like I just told you about, the fact that I'm what's his face? I'm a Baba, and it's just a little harder, right? But, real talk, I shouldn't even, that's why I say I don't sweat it. Sometimes y'all be in private conversation with me trying to go, and I'm like, look, just get it public. Because, see, I'm just trying to give you the information, right? So even when I go to the continent, you can give me my daps, you can give me my pound. I mean, some of y'all want to give me a bullet, you could. I guess you could go ahead and try. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'll give you the green light. That's on you. But for the rest of you that want to do something good and positive, and you don't see that as good and positive, right? Like I said, we go to the continent, we do it. And this is partly why I don't tell y'all where I'm going. You understand? We just bump into each other. All right? But you don't repair another until you have seen it to your own. This is something that we as Pan-African nationalists have to understand. That's why I don't go too hard. The only reason why I'm actually
talking about it so much is because of this pandemic, coronavirus, right? If it wasn't for this pandemic, I would have been, because my whole thing was to lay low, right? Keep it a little secret, right? Then show y'all the pictures when I came back. You know what I'm saying? Be like, yo, this is the, oh, this right here. You know what I'm saying? Be like, oh, this is me right here. Like, oh, you see what I'm saying? I was planning on doing that, okay? But, you know, like this pandemic came in the way, messed up a lot of my plans. But you know, it is what it is. You just keep going. When you in it, but you have to figure out. Look, you don't repair another person's fence. This is why I don't even do the online stuff like that. You know, people come on my case like, hey man, why are you not organizing? Why are you not organizing online and all that? I don't organize online because I know that what we have to do as a people is build locally, okay? Build locally. Build in a community. I read last week about what was inside of the Book of Power. You know, about the Boko. You have to build that Boko. I say to myself, look, when I go on the continent, I can get me a building. You know what I'm saying? I got money in the bank to get a building. Okay? I got money in the bank to get a building. Now, of course, I need to pick out the right area. But when I get this building, you see these quotes that y'all just seeing right here? That's going to be on the wall. All right? That's going to be on the wall. So people going to come inside this building. They're going to want something or whatever. They might just meet up. I don't care. Right? They're going to read on the wall, do not repair another's fence until you have seen to your own. You understand? We could do the worship. Like when I'm in the continent, you might hear this worship live from the continent. With the congregation. You know what I'm saying? You think about that. What do you think that is? People in front of me. People, hey, how you doing? Yeah. See, like I'm telling you, do not repair another person's fence. Have you repaired a fence earlier? Have you repaired somebody else's fence while your fence looking jacked up? Have you bought somebody a nice silk shirt while your shirt is jacked up? You know what I'm saying? Talking to them right there in person. And if you want that to happen, like I said, get these books. You know? I mean, I'm not telling you that the books is really going to stop, but a part of it. You know, pass on these messages. Share these documents. Just be active. Let me know that you want stuff to happen. Okay? Right now, you guys are not telling. You guys are saying, "Hey, man, like you know." The reason why I just froze 2 seconds ago, if you catched it, was I saw how many people listening, and I was like, "Oh, just one person," you know. And I mean, I'm grateful for this one person, obviously. You know, drop a like if you can. But you know, that's why I froze. I was like, "Whoa, I'm doing this. I'm doing all this. I'm thinking, hey, you know what? This is like 1 million people should be listening to this, right? And it's one. And at the end of the day. You know, you go forward in time and you like, oh, it's you know, you go forward in time and you look at this video back and you say, oh, it's 50 people. 50 people listen to it. You know, for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes each. You understand? And then you wonder, hey, Oni, why you ain't doing why people have, what was it called? Self-esteem. You know, people. I mean, here's the thing about markets. You know, you gotta understand about markets, right? In a market. There should be a market evaluation. You know what I mean? If I see that Yvette Carnell come from Little and says a little stuff, and then she gather all these people, right? And then I say I come from Little and I say all this stuff, you know, because like I want you to know that at some point in time, you know, technically I could have been. Well, no, I shouldn't say that, but Yvette wasn't really that popular, right? If I said to myself, maybe she's saying what's really resonating with people. You know? Maybe I'm just not resonating with people. Resonance is the most important thing. Like when you're talking to a woman, when you're talking to a lady, sometimes you're talking to her and you're just like, y'all not feeling each other. You know, you'll just, you know, hey, you know, what's your blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you're talking to a sister and you're just joking and laughing and it's just the best thing you've had since sliced bread. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's a difference. There's a difference and that's something that's that resonance. And if you don't pick up on that in the community, then it's like, you know, a lot of times you're not even too excited. Like sometimes I be wasting my time. I'm wasting my days. Like I got this book I'm supposed to be writing and I haven't even touched it. I'm just like, you know, like what's the point of writing a book if nobody's reading it? You You know, if I had sales coming up, I have sales, you know, regular, like boom, 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 boom. I'd be like, yo, let me get another book out. You know what I'm saying? Let me get another book out. But you look at my sales, you say to yourself, look, man, there's no reason for you to be working this hard if nobody want to read it. You understand? So do yourself a favor, you know, do yourself a favor and say, look, man, I want this brother to feel like he's wanted in this world. You know? Because look at this right here, next proverb. And look how everything's connected. Our senses serve to affirm, not to know. We don't know based off of our senses, but they affirm us. You know? When I hear from you, right? I'm affirmed that I want to be heard. Oh, sorry, that you want to hear, that you heard me. You know, I don't know if you heard me. Like sometimes you can fake the funk. You understand? Sometimes you can fake the funk. You can just be like, look, that's what you used to do with our people. Sometimes you could just write them and be like, hey man, you know what? Good job. Whatever you're doing, good job. You understand? You don't have to think that they're doing a good job. You can just be like, hey man, you know what? Keep it up. Great going. You know? Oh, you're an inspiration. You tell them that. You know, you probably dislike their guts. And you still tell them, you know what? You're an inspiration. I mean, if you know they're doing something good. You understand? You know, our senses seek to affirm, not to know. So you got to work with the senses of other people. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. But, you know, you already know what that's about. Bibi Fahodia, you see this background right here, though? You see this? That's what Quality Books does, man. That's a sister standing over a little Wazungu, and you say, Bibi Fahodia. That's just the background image, you know? I don't know why my phone decided to blow up whenever, you know, from the 90s. It's some old nonsense. All right, look here. It is better not to know, and to know that one does not know, than presumptuously to attribute some random meaning to symbols. Okay? It is better to not know. No, it's better not to know and to know that one does not know. It's better to know that you're ignorant than to think that you know something when you're ignorant. Okay? It is better to know that you're ignorant. That's the thing that happens with our people, matter of fact. Because I say, look, man, I wrote a really great book. They're like, I don't need any more books. I read all these other books. I read this book. I read that book. I don't need no more books. And it's like, yo, calm your black ass down. You know what I'm saying? Calm down. All right? I'm letting you know that there's things that you don't know. You know? I'm gonna go a little geek here. Y'all ever heard of this? There's this animation by Disney, I guess, it's called Pocahontas, right? And Pocahontas is she's singing a song. I think it's Have you ever heard the wolf cries of blue corn moon or something like that, right? And at some point she says, something like, how does the song even go? Something like, there's more things you don't know, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing, like, you don't know. You know? You don't even know you don't know. That's what she's telling this white boy, but it's like, it applies to you too. That there are things that you don't know. You know? And instead of saying, you know what, I don't know something, and it's like, okay, I get it. You don't know. Right? But here's the thing I want you to understand. That's from, first off, this right here is from an ancient African, like this was in Waset. You know? So I tell you, you go to Bill Waset. This was in Waset. This particular proverb was in Waset. Okay? But even on the walls, like the walls of Kemet, there's a poem where they say, look, if you don't know that you don't know, you are dangerous. I reprinted that one in the Pro-Black Compendium, right? But it's like, if you don't know, then you're dangerous. You understand? You're a danger to our people. This is what it is. It's better to not be a danger than to be a danger. That's what this is saying. Come on, family. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep it going. Each truth you learn will be for you as new as it had never been written. This is so important. Because that's what I'm trying to tell you. When you're going to be listening to me and you're going to be learning stuff, and you're going to be like, wow, shit, I never heard that. It's written down. You got to read. That's it. When somebody tells you, hey, look, when somebody like me tells you go read, that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Like I said, the poems in the book. I mean, look, I might have to pull out the pro-black companion. I might have to pull out the pro-black companion because the poem there tells it all. The poem there tells it all. Matter of fact, I'll do that for another podcast. But the poem there tells it all. You know? The poem there tells it all. If somebody is wise, you follow them. That's what they said. If somebody is wise, you follow them. That's exactly what you have to do. If you're talking about knowing yourself, you're supposed to figure out, look, if somebody has some wisdom, you go and get it. But some of y'all just tripping like, oh man, he's wise. Okay, he's wisdom. All right, well, shit. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, shoot, he doesn't know this. You know, that's I say, man. Every time I'm doing something, somebody's like, hey, bitch, you don't know this. Oh, you smart, but you don't know that. Oh, you don't know everything about like shut the. Like, I'm not worried about that stupid stuff you worried about. Like I remember this one sister was on my case like, oh, you don't know tort law, you know, or even like a good brother was talking about, oh, you don't know Bitcoin. Like, look, I mean, no, I'm not gonna know everything on the planet. You understand? Why would I know everything on the planet? That's just, I'm trying, I know how we can get power. Okay? I know what we got to do to organize as a people to get power. Okay? To get our community back. That's all I'm worried about. I'm not worried about tort law. I'm not worried about the American system of reparations that's not coming to you. And even if it does come to you, it's not coming to me per se. Like, why would I care about that? I'm not worried about Bitcoin if all I got to do is put money inside and then watch it grow. You know what I'm saying? What I worry about all the intricacies for? You know, like no, I don't know everything in the world. But y'all trying to, like, I tell you, like, the other people trying to like come at me like, oh man, well, you don't know about this. Oh, you don't know about the fourth. You know, like this is the thing with our people. You know, I'm not about history as much as history making. You understand what I'm saying to you? You understand what I'm saying to you? When they write the textbooks, they're gonna list the names of people. When we write the Constitution of the new African nations, they're going to list the names at the beginning of all the people who signed the Constitution. And the question is your name going to be there? You understand? Or are you going to be in the immemorial? Or are you going to, like, where are you going to be? Because it seems like you're going to be sitting up in the West talking about, oh, I know about tort law. Oh, I know about, you know? Nobody cares about that stuff. We're talking about nation building. Come on, get with the program. You know? Listen to your conviction, even if they seem absurd to your reason. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Sometimes you'll be like, you know what, Oni, I think that your book is a little bit expensive. You know? Right? No. Matter of fact, you're like, you know, Oni, I want to read your book. I want to read your book, but I don't have any money. I don't have any money. What else to do? It's like, shut up, listen to your conviction. You want to read the book? Get the book. Find a way. Okay? 50 bucks is nothing. You know, you like, the only thing that's stopping you from 50 bucks is you think that it's a lot for a book. But that's your problem. That's your personal problem you got to get over. You understand? You know, 500 something pages you want it to be 20 bucks. You want to do 20 bucks. But I only want to spend a book. I only want to spend $20 on a book. I don't want to spend more than $20 on a book. And then meanwhile, when you go to university, you spending $80 for a textbook that you don't even read. You know, you spending, as a matter of fact, when you go to university, you spending $20,000 for a piece of paper, right? That sometimes you have a hard time using. And this is $20,000 a year. Come on, out of your African mind right here. Exuberance is a good stimulus towards action, but the inner light grows in silence and concentration. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, this is why I don't even do that. Like I said, I don't do that exuberance. I say, look, and this is why I gotta keep going back to this stuff. If I gotta keep going back to this stuff, right? What do you think you gotta do? If I publish this and I gotta go back, what do you think you gotta do? Right? Good stimulus towards action, but the inner light grows in silence and concentration. Okay? The inner light grows in silence and concentration. You need that silence and concentration when you're trying to grow. Okay? That's what that says. And I mean, look, you know, you might be like, hey, Oni, I want you to spend a little more time on that. Get on the Discord. I'm on the Discord. Get on the Discord and tell me. I want, you know, hey, you know what? Spend a little more time on that. You know? Go ahead and tell me. You know? Look at that. I got 0 concurrent listeners. But that's fine. You know? We're going to keep going. Right? The best and shortest road towards knowledge of truth is nature. This is why I would do. This is why I go for, like when you study my earliest writings, right? A lot of them deal with allegories of nature. A lot of times when I'm trying to evaluate something, I'm going through what nature says, because the truth is in nature. Okay, the truth is in nature. This is something that our ancestors knew. The truth is in nature. All right, nature is true. This what like nature could be, the animals and all that, the biology and all that. Nature could also be the stars and so on and so forth. The cyclical nature of things. That summer becomes autumn, autumn becomes winter, winter becomes spring, spring becomes summer. The cyclical nature of things, the sunrise to the sunset. Okay, the radiation of light. All right, the formation of lions, how the lion has gender roles. Okay, the way how like I was doing some posts on bees, on Twitter. I was doing some posts on bees and how the bee is taught from adolescence to defend its colony, defend its women, right? Defend its queendom in a sense, right? And give their life, sacrifice their life for the good of their people. Not really put too much stock in their individual life as much as their community life. And the thing is this: when the queen is killed, that they get another queen. They just go ahead and dig up the other queen. So they have a whole like they have the queen waiting and incubating for when she can come into being. You understand? Like they have a whole formation to just keep the colony going, right? But the bees, like I said, they give their life, and what you do is that you learn from that. And the thing is this: that's what our ancestors did. They learned from the beings around them. That there's a specific, I don't know if it's a bug, but there's a specific, it might be a bug, right? That builds pyramids. You ain't listening. You ain't even listening. Nature gives it to you. So the seed cannot sprout upwards without simultaneously sending roots into the ground. This is something that you have to understand when it comes to the mind. When we talk about psychology, because I see, there's a brother on the Discord. But like I said, more people come on the Discord. But like, when you see the seed cannot sprout upwards without simultaneously sending roots, every expression that you have, everything that you do or say, right, it comes from a seed that was put into your head that sprouted. What you express is the upward sprouting, but it already sent roots into your being. So when you say something like, "Oh man, you know what? I don't like," when you say something like, "Oh, I like white girls," right? I like white girls, right? When you say that, it's because something was already sprouted in you and it already dug deep. So if I come around and say, "Look, man, Lupita is a really nice woman," you might be like, "Yeah, Lupita's nice." You might agree with me, but the roots have not been taken out yet. So that same mentality, if you like it, white women could come back. You have to uproot the poison, the Eurasianism, I would call it. You have to uproot this poison from your being, right? Or it's gonna come right back. It's gonna grow right back. You know what I'm saying? If you don't get rid of the roots, it's gonna get right back. That's something you gotta know. That's something you should know as a people. So I mean, I hope you understand that. Let's go right here. We mustn't confuse mastery with mimicry, knowledge with superstitious ignorance. And this is what I would tell us as a people, that a lot of the people that we believe are masters in this whole African nationalism, this whole understanding of nationhood, all of that, are mimicking. And this is what the ancestors are telling you. The ancestors are saying, look, do not confuse mastery with mimicry. Do not confuse knowledge with superstitious ignorance. A lot of times, like this is something that I want you to understand. When I was younger, matter of fact, before I even knew what black nationalism was, these white folk, I was on like some, some forum, back in the day, if you felt like having an intellectual conversation and you was in high school, you know what I'm saying? You ain't really just go to your high school classmates. You know what I mean? You might have went online. You might have went on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Or like me, I would go on the internet, or I might talk with teachers. You know what I'm saying? But like real talk, the internet was where I was at, right? So I would be talking with adults on the internet, and they would say, some of them, I would say stuff like, oh, black people, we need to get black people, blah, blah, blah. Good stuff about black folk, good promotion of black folk. And then these white boys would be like, oh, you just an African nationalist, you're just a black nationalist, you're just a black nationalist, black nationalism, blah, blah, blah. What next thing you're going to tell is something about Yaqub. You're going to say, oh, all white people were created by Yaqub. And I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about, right? And they're like, boy, you should look it up Malcolm X or something, right? And I didn't even know, I didn't really read Malcolm X at the time. I didn't watch Malcolm X at the time because, Malcolm X had a bad rap back in high school. You know what I'm saying? So, but eventually, I did read Malcolm X, and I did see that one paragraph, or that one sentence where he mentions, oh yeah, white people were created by Yaqub. And it's some nonsense. But that's the superstitious ignorance I'm talking about. And these white folk, they read this stuff, and they are able to see how they can try to get black folk away from black nationalism. They know how to come into our communities and figure out what we're saying and say, you know what? We can turn these intelligent black folk away because they're giving out the superstitious ignorance. This is why I come inside and I say, look, I'm going to give you knowledge. I'm going to give you mastery because a lot of times what you got is mimicry. If I can encounter these black folk and say, oh, you know what they're saying is wrong. If I could do that, what do you think this white boy could do to all these intelligent black folk who don't have black mentors that they can rely on, who don't have mastery that they can rely on? You understand? This is a part of what and why we have to be active and why we have to get out there and do what we got to do. It's the same with what was it called? One of the most famous examples of superstitious ignorance, right, is the William Lynch letter. Okay? William Lynch letter, a lot of us love it. It's good. It's so on and so forth. But you have to understand that when you realize that it's fake, it turns you away. Now, of course, what I do is that nowadays I tell people, even though it's fake, it's based off of the Black Jacobins. It's based off of real intelligence, and the brother just wrote it as a so on and so forth, as a piece to make it digestible. Black Jacobins, I have it right here. It's it's not necessarily the most digestible book. It's like 300. It's 400 pages. It's 400 pages, whereas William Lynch letter is like 16 or something. And it just goes straight to the point. But that's what we have to understand if we're trying to understand what's going on. Let's see. So this one right here is actually one of the most important proverbs that you can come across. And this one is, the key to all problems is the problem of consciousness. Okay? The key to all problems is the problem of consciousness. The consciousness of a people is the root of all of their problems. You understand? A lot of times you're going to say this, like this is, and again, like this right here, this one's from ancient Waset. I keep telling you this from ancient Waset. And I tell you, look, when we build these bokos, I want this featured in there. I want this featured in there, because I want us to say to ourselves, I want us to understand that we have to come against the consciousness, right, of our people and make it so that that's no longer a problem for us. What this white boy is doing is he is giving us a problematic consciousness. And if we want to solve our problems, we have to change that problematic consciousness. We have to change that problematic consciousness. That's something that I want you to understand. That's something I want you to grasp. This right here is another one that I want you to grasp. Many hands make light work. African proverb. This is what our ancestors are telling us. Many hands make light work. A lot of times, like I think, matter of fact, there's, I think, yeah. So yesterday I was talking about this incident where this dude was telling me what I should be doing, and it's like, look, don't tell me what to do. Either you do it. Now I was telling this person to go do it themselves if they want somebody to do it, but like real talk is this, that if you're really trying to accomplish something, you gotta join hands. Like you gotta join. You gotta say, look, your hand, my hand, we work together, and we make the work even lighter. I want to tell you something about physics. I'll tell you something about physics, right? If there is 100 pound, as a matter of fact, let's say if there's a 60 pound, 70 pound television, right, that I got to move, right? If I go to lift it up, it's going to feel like 70 pounds. If me and, no, let's get a better way. 90 pounds. Let's say 90 pounds. If the television is 90 pounds, I got to go lift it up. It's 90 pounds. It's heavy, right, for me, right? If I get help from one person, it's 45 pounds. It feels like 45 pounds. If I get help by two people, right, then it's going to feel like 30 pounds. Okay? If I get help by four people, it's going to feel like 22.5 pounds. You understand what I'm telling you? Many hands make light work. You understand? You get 9 people, it feels like 10 pounds each. You don't even need that many people. You understand? And this is like, this is how this is how physics works. Right? This is how physics works. Evenly distributed weight. The weight evenly distributes as soon as you lift it up with another person. Okay? Now, obviously, you might say, oh, well, what about if we were to angle it a certain way? Yeah, if you angle it a certain way like a dummy, then sure it's going to not be. But if you angle it in such a way that it's evenly distributed, right, geometrically, right, then the weight is going to be evenly distributed as well. I mean, and of course, the example is best for 2 people. But again, you're not going to necessarily have 9 people trying to move a television unless it's huge or something. But this is something that you have to understand when it comes to, like for instance, there's videos, as a matter of fact, of white folk. There was somebody who was pinned down by a car, and these white folk got together and just lifted it up. They just went and lifted up the car so the guy could get out from being pinned. But if you have enough people, then a car, which might be, let's say, 2,000 pounds or something, right, or maybe more, I don't know, but then a car becomes light. Many hands make light work. You have to understand. This is the same thing when it comes to this liberation thing. What a lot of us want is that, Oni, you want Oni, what? Like that's what happens. Like, I'm telling you right now. When I was in, like I said, the UAM, right? When I was in the UAM, I had this idea of, we could do buy Black magazine again. The elder was telling me about how they used to have a magazine where, like a coupon book where you can go and do some buy Black stuff. This business will give you $5 off, or this business will give you, $1 off, and you just make your own coupon book, and then you sell that coupon book and all that. But what you would need is you'd have to go to each store and say, would you participate in the coupon book, and blah blah blah. And maybe they might pay in or something. Who knows, right? They might pay $5. I don't care, right? They might pay something, and then they have they can recognize your coupon. All that stuff. It was a lot of work. So I go to the UAM and I say, hey, look, you guys, let's do this. We got young people here. They're not really doing anything. If we can work. And they were like, why don't you do it first? And then we'll help you. So I never did it. You understand? But that's how a lot of other people think. It's like, yo, why don't, like, people be like they even come challenge me. They say, Oni, where's your community center? It's like, I mean, as many hands make light work. If I'm just here to do all the work, right? Then it's just one hand makes hard work. You understand? Y'all not getting it. Y'all not getting it. It's fine, but y'all not getting it. Here, this is Rastafari. Hail up. I'm Adrian. I'm gonna listen for a few minutes. Alright, say peace, brother. Yeah. Alright. So, yeah, y'all not listening. Let's go. All is within yourself. Know your most inward self and look for what corresponds with it in nature. So this is just one of those deep things you're going to have to meditate on. All is within yourself. Everything is within you. So you have to know your most inward self and then look for what corresponds with it in nature. This is just one of those things that you're going to have to meditate on. All right? Let's go. When there is no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you. Okay? When there is no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you. All right? And this is like, you have to understand who your enemies are. You know that there's this book called Ibn Battuta, right? Ibn Battuta in Black Africa. Ibn Battuta talks about how he's basically an Arab, right? So he calls himself a white man. He says this, that in the interior of Africa, right, there are some African cities that he doesn't go because they kill white people on sight. You understand? A lot of times, black folk would kill white people on sight. Like, oh no, wait, I think I know that dude. Forget it. I think I know him. Some black people did it. And when they did it, that's when these white folk took them over. That's inside destruction of black civilization. Alright? You have to understand that if only when, and see, I wouldn't even call the person inside the enemy per se, you know? But you have to have that clarity of who the enemy outside is. This is something that I want to bring to Africa. Okay? Matter of fact, yeah, this is something I want to bring to Africa. This is the reason why I do these podcasts. I want you to understand. And it's something that I got to keep going back. Like, this is something that I have to, like, return to. This is why you want these proverbs. This is why you want these kind of things. Because you have to return to the knowledge that really suits you. You know, a lot of times I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of times, like, what the conscious community is being distracted with right now is not just the politics, but also the quasi-politic. You know, the quasi-political, you know? The enemy, the ADOS or something like that. You know, you might be like, oh, I don't like ADOS. Like, you're being distracted by that. I'm gonna be real, because they're not the enemy. I mean, you might in some way say the enemy within, but I don't really call black folk enemies per se. But I mean, I understand. Like it's like when there's no Scotty, then the enemy outside can't hurt you, and that's true. But like, if you're not really I'd rather let you just gotta know. My thing is this: you know who the Ascari are, just disassociate from them. When ADOS thing was first coming up, I was like, let's leave them alone. Like, why are we giving them so much attention? You know what I mean? A lot of black folk were turning on us. You know, a lot of black folk who were formerly black nationalists and formerly Pan-Africanists were like, you know what, F that. Kill that noise. And my thing is just block them. Just block them, just leave them alone. You know? But instead it became so that, you know, black people were like, no, we gotta defend, we gotta do this, that, and so forth. You know? And it just ruined it, because these white folk don't even give a shit. You know, it doesn't change the material realities of the Congo. It doesn't change the conditions of our people. So we really got distracted. And we're still distracted, but you know, it is what it is. But that's what I'm saying. The enemy could not hurt you if we just was about it. We just said, look here, you know what? We the last of the Pan-Africanists, we the last of the Garveyites. You know, let's come together and let's be about building. Okay? I love when people tell me, hey, you know what, I'm not really a Garveyite. I love it. I love when I hear people say, you know, I ain't trying to mess with Africa. I love that. Tell me that some more, so I know to just not deal with your black ass. You know, and you know, some people don't like when I say black ass. I don't know why, because I love it. You know, I love it. All right, let's keep going. This right here, oh my gosh, yo, this right here is the best dating advice you're gonna get in your life. This is the best dating advice you're gonna get in your life. I just act as if it is impossible to fail. Now, it's not dating advice per se. This is life advice. This is one of the best advice you're gonna get in your life. It is act as if it is impossible to fail. Sometimes you just gotta go with the flow. You gotta go with your life like, you know what? I cannot fail. I cannot fail. And that's what I'm saying. This is why, you know, you can't be a coward. Sometimes people might say, you know, you sound like a coward. I know people say that sometimes. But look, you gotta act as if it's impossible. Now obviously you gotta within reason. Obviously, I wanna say that within reason. Within reason, but you know, do your calculation. You know, yeah, do your calculation. Obviously, you know, don't say, you know what, I can't fail. I'm gonna fight, you know, 200 people in a small ring. You know, like no, you shit. Like, yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, calm down, calm down over there, right? All right, let's see. A fish and a bird may fall. This is about interracial relationships. I mean, not about interracial, but you could read this as interracial relationship. A fish and a bird may fall in love, but the two cannot build a home. Okay? Together, yeah. A fish and a bird may fall in love, but the two cannot build a home together. All right? A fish gotta live in the sea, and a bird gotta live in the sky. Okay? You know, or a bird don't gotta live in the sea. Let's say it that way, right? You know, this is how it is with white folk and black folk, okay? Or even, like, you can even say, look, Ascari and Ancovia, you know? If, like, you have to know that the goal of your relationship, you know? And this is what I'm saying, like, if you're going for a meaningful relationship, if you're looking for a meaningless relationship, don't worry about it. But if you're looking for a meaningful relationship, that is to build a home together, okay? Like, and sometimes you got to say to yourself, like, you got to look at your life and ask yourself, are you ready to build a home together? Because that's the thing that I didn't really, see, that's probably why I'm a divorced person. Because like, when you look back in time, I say, look, you know, maybe I wasn't ready, maybe my wife wasn't ready. My ex-wife was ready. We weren't ready to build a home together. Okay? We might not have the economy at the time. You know? We might not have had the culture at the time. We might not have, like we're not. For me personally, I feel like I'm in the wrong damn country. You understand? It's different. So it's like if you're not ready to have like I'm not saying like you focus on your ability to build a home. That's what you gotta do. You gotta focus on your ability to build a home. That's one. Obviously, if you want a little as I say in Zubiri, catharsis. In the meantime, physical catharsis. Then get it done. But I'm not holding it against you because like I said, life is like we gotta understand how life is. But but focus on this. Are you ready to build a home? Because if you're not, then like don't be all you and me together. Let's go. By knowing, one reaches belief. By doing, one gains conviction. When dare. This is something that you have to understand, that when you know something, then dare to do it. You might have belief, but you need conviction. Do it. Do it. Do it. Dare. All right? That's an ancient proverb too. Let's go. Qualities of a moral order are measured by deeds. This is something that people have to understand, that if you do not have the deeds, don't even step to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I used to be in UAM. The attorney at war, the chairman was Alton Madison. He said, "Look, man, he don't want to deal with people who don't got notches in their belt." When we talk about the Schomburg, right? The Schomburg was almost like the city almost appointed a white boy to be leader of the Schomburg, right? A black research facility, okay? And this brother, he stopped that. He said, "Nope, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, so on and so forth." And now it's a black leader. Now it might not be the best radical black leader, but it's a black person nonetheless, right? You gotta have notches in your belt. Like think back to the days of the quote unquote cowboys or whatever, right? Where if you or even when you talk about these gangs, like you have these sort of symbols for people to know, oh yeah, I got bodies on. You understand? That's notches in your belt. Like oh yeah, blah blah blah. So it's like you people like with me, the thing you guys say is, look, you could look me up in a bookstore. Not like a bookstore that y'all might frequent, because I guess the bookstores don't really give you that kind of love. But you can look me up online on the internet bookstore. You know what I'm saying? You can look me up on different websites. You could, I've done things. Like I got articles, I got books, I got so on and so forth. If you don't got that stuff, right? Don't come to me. Don't come to me. Because it's like, like you ain't got the notches in your belt yet. And I mean, obviously, I want to do more. Obviously, measured by deeds. Obviously, there's gonna be people who do more than me. I don't blame them. Like I said, I have to deal with other stuff. But but like you have to think about you. Because see, the people that are doing more than me, like for instance, Arikana, right? Arikana Chiambori, she ain't wasting her time on me. I mean, this is a good podcast, and I think that she would benefit greatly from listening to it. But she ain't really wasting her time on me. Hold on a second. I see Rastafari is in the comments. He says 400 years psychological minefield. Fucking only thing can reverse that now is living condition. The hardest thing is to get the people will lose confidence in the colonial system. Respect, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I had them ADOS FBA. Yeah, he hate them. Yeah, I feel you, man. Like my thing is this. I'm gonna be honest with you about this ADOS thing. Is that they came in and they was like they were challenging Pan-Africanism. They were lighting a fire under the Pan-Africanists, and it's like, somebody had to wake us up. Like they were saying, look, you just revel in what you was accomplishing 20 years ago or 50 years ago, and you're not necessarily as active and productive as you can be today. And like that's something that you have to say. Now I don't really believe in their American jingoism or their attacks on immigrants, right? And I think that that's a bad direction to go. But that's another thing that happens. That what happens is that when you can be convincing, like you can have a good argument and a bad conclusion. You can have a good argument and a bad conclusion. So, I mean, a part of it, though, is that, but, you can't expect them. It's like Garvey said. Garvey said you cannot expect people to come to the right conclusion. Well, he didn't say that. He said you can't hold people accountable to things you haven't trained them for. If we're not training them to be Pan-African nationalists, right, then we can't hold them accountable for not being. All right. So right here, like right here, look at that. If the master teaches what is error, the disciple's submission is slavery. If the master teaches truth, this submission is noblement. You know, we are not necessarily out there teaching the truth or being the masters of our people in the sense of educationally. And because of that, you know, it's you know, we're gonna behave like enslaved people. You know, but I mean, you could ruminate on that, but everybody can ruminate on that. Look, see that right here. Ignorant person is always a slave. Sure, it's already set. Like if we are ignorant, we're going to be enslaved. You know, and we're going to have the behaviorisms of people who are enslaved in the sense that we're going to turn against our own people. We're going to turn against the people who look like us, the people who could help us. You know? Let's go. Whoever works without knowledge works uselessly. Again, this is like A.J. West in a nutshell. Whoever works without knowledge works uselessly. Let's keep going. Hawks go away for the nesting season, and fools think they have gone forever. Hawks go away for the nesting season, and fools think they have gone forever. All right? This is how white people are. White people go away for a certain season, right? Are they coming back? You know, the enslavement of African people went away for a certain season. It's coming back. You understand? You understand? The situation, the harm that's being done to us as a people has gone away a little bit, but it's on its way back. Come on. Unless you do something about it. See what I'm saying? Like, unless you're not a fool and you understand and you understand that it's on its way back, and you do something about it. So look here. When the community leadership loses its direction, the community is oppressed. When the community leadership loses its direction, the community is oppressed. There is only the leadership and its direction that should be blamed in any social, economic, or political crisis. One spits only at the leader. It's the leaders of our people that are to blame for the condition and situation that is going on with us. And a part of it is that we don't have any leaders. You need to have a leader to lead you through these social, economic, or political crises. If you are in a social, economic, or political crisis and you do not have a leader, then make a leader. Become a leader. Do something. The community leader is a dog's head. Everybody knocks upon it. One only spits at the leader. A true leader is an object of critics. Come on, family. Understand what's being said. A person prepared beforehand is better than after reflection. Prepare now. That will be better than after reflection. Prepare now for the future. Okay? Prepare now for your life. Prepare now for your well-being. Prepare now for what's going on, for what's up ahead. Not after. Like, how many of you were, matter of fact, I want to ask you this. How many of you were prepared for a pandemic? How many of you were prepared for a pandemic? Right here, let me see. Leaders are willfully ignorant and leading them off of the cliff. I hope them wake up before them reach the cliff edge. Sure. You gotta. The coming year is not out of sight. Let us be up and work every day. Every day. Say this, the coming year is not out of sight. Okay? We're in October. You know, by the white man's calendar. We're in October by the white man's calendar. The next year is 2 months away. Let us be up and work. Let us be up and work. I'm going to try to wrap this up, guys. Trade is not something imaginary or descriptive, but it's something real and profitable. You know, when we talk about economy, we talk about trade. It's not about some imaginary trade. It's about something that's real and profitable. You profit from trade. Okay? You profit from trade. It's like if somebody said, hey, Oni, I want your book. You know? I want your book. You know? I'm supposed to profit from that. I'm not supposed to just, oh, yeah, okay. Well, you know, it cost me this much. You know? So I'm going to give it to you for less than that. That's stupid. Come on. One is expected to show fidelity and loyalty to one's people. Understand that again. One is expected to show fidelity and loyalty to one's people. This is the trouble with this ADOS people, matter of fact. They are trying to tell you, hey, look, we are not your people. We are not your people. We're not the same people. You know, we all black, we all African, and we're not supposed like this is that's the biggest outrage in regards to the ADOS people. Let me see if I can copy and paste this one. I don't know how to copy and paste. Yeah, maybe this one. Oh no, that's typewriter. I don't know. Oh here. This is one of the troubles with the ADOS people. So I'm gonna copy and paste this into the YouTube. Oh, look, it didn't go out right. But anyway, yeah, it didn't go out right. But whatever. It went out like some alien stuff. All right. Kill a warrior during skirmishes at home. You'll remember the warrior when fighting enemies. Listen to that. Kill a warrior during skirmishes at home while you're practicing or while you are whatever. You know, like you have to get like it's like this. You know, like I was thinking about getting a puncher bag. You know. I just don't have the physical space for that, right? But I was thinking about getting a punching bag so that when it's time, right? When it's time, I could practice that kind of combat, But that's what I'm saying to you, that like you have to have that practice, spar at home, spar, I mean they say kill, but spar at least, And so that when you are up against this enemy, you have things to remember. It's important. Make sure you're sparring. Alright? When there is the community Jin leadership, there is the center of the community. Societies like people have their hearts. This is the community center. You have to have the community center has the community leadership. The leadership of the community. People, societies are like people. They have hearts. If you do not have a heart, you are dead. You are dead. Like even more so than the brain, the heart is fundamental for life. I mean, obviously the brain is too. Like you need the both. But that's what community leadership is also. If you offend, ask for a pardon. If offended, forgive. This is one of the key things in conflict resolution. Hold on a second. So, if you offend, ask for a pardon. If offended, forgive. Hold on a second. Give me 2 seconds. So this one's actually really important. I want you to highlight. I want you to understand that's very important. That if you offend, you ask for pardon. This is conflict resolution 101, right? Sometimes you just gotta ask for forgiveness, and you have to forgive people. Obviously, there's some things that are unforgivable, so don't take it, too literally. But that's the way to get out of a conflict. Whatever. So not the greatest master can go even one step for a disciple. The disciple must experience each stage of developing consciousness. Therefore, knowing nothing that is not ripe. Right? So, you cannot really bring another person. You cannot really develop another person's consciousness except by steps. I can't teach you about vector calculus without first teaching you, if you don't know about addition. You understand? Or you don't know about multiplication, right? And you couldn't really know about multiplication unless you know about addition. So if you don't know about addition, you're not really going to figure out much when it comes to vector calculus, vector analysis. Like you have to understand that there are stages of something. So when it comes to nation building and nationalism, like I said, I got the book for you, and it's going to walk you through the different stages of consciousness. It's going to walk you through the different stages of consciousness. That's what it's for. So don't underestimate how knowledge building works. Don't underestimate how consciousness building works. Because a lot of things are not going to make sense to you. Like I said, like some people be like, hey, I was already building community centers. No. This is a whole different science
This is a whole different aspect. You have community centers. That doesn't mean you're gonna have power. You understand? There's plenty of people with like everybody builds community centers. Not everybody has power. That's something that you have to understand. All right. True teaching is not an accumulation of knowledge. It is an awakening of consciousness, which goes through successive stages. This is pretty much the same thing. So just ruminate on that. If one tries to navigate unknown waters, one risks the risk of shipwreck. Do not try to navigate unknown waters, or you can be shipwrecked. That's one. And that's what I'm saying. This is the other books. Technically, these were the other ones I was supposed to try to write. You know, Conflict Resolution, Art of War, Know Yourself, Drusilla Dungy Houston. But I didn't. I don't think I'm going to write them anymore because, like I said, nobody's even buying them. No one's even buying them. So these are the only 4 that were produced in the Pan-African Wisdom series. But you know, it is what it is. If you don't, you know, like I said, you know, like people do, like I said, like one tries to unknown water. Like this is unknown waters, and I run the risk of shipwreck. If I'm producing books and nobody's buying them, then that's a shipwreck. So now I just say, you know what? Look, you don't want it, you don't get it. That's it. If you don't want it, you don't get it. But thank you so much for listening, family. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor of being able to be heard by you. But so far, I'm enjoying the fact that we can dialogue every week. And make sure you drop some more likes. Leave some comments in the description. The comments should not be, oh, well, I want you to write those other books, right? But instead, it should be, whatever you might have learned. If you learned anything new, if you liked anything, if you want to get the book, go for it. But thank you so much for listening. Right now, I got 1 concurrent viewer, 2 likes. Average watch time for each listener was 6 minutes, and this was an hour and 12 minutes stream. So you already know that this is the world, this is the life that I chose. But it is what it is. But thank you so much for listening, and Shem Hotep, and try to join me next week. But Shem Hotep.